Welcome back to the University of Life and this course, How to Change the World. This is going to be a short video, I think, and it's going to make this step how to begin. So let's say you have chosen a project, whether it's yourself or your first circle of influence, or people around you, or the whole world. Whatever it is you want to do, how do you begin? There are two approaches, two main strategies. The first one is to start slow. Dip your toe in the pool. Don't worry about big commitment moves. You can work out that later. You can skip the scary stuff if the scary stuff is tripping you up and making it too hard, or making it, affecting your performance too adversely. So this might include planning. One of the best lessons, most useful tools I've ever learned, I learned from my cousin Sophie, who's awesome. I adore her. And I went with her family down to Havasu Falls, down into the Grand Canyon with the beautiful, gorgeous big blue waterfalls and all. And brought my ropes and set up a zip line to splash into the pool. And I love the photos of my little nieces, just huge grins and laughing as they did that. But anyway, over the few days we were there, I would sometimes notice Sophie sitting in her hammock in camp and writing in this notebook. And I think she had a boyfriend who was currently out of the country at the time. And I asked her one day, I was like, "Oh, are you writing to David," or whatever his name was? She's like, "No, I'm writing my morning pages." I was like, "What's that?" And so she told me about this book by Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way. And it's a good book. I really like it. I recommend it. But the only point I'm going to talk about today is morning pages. And this book is all about regaining your creativity. And what she recommends is that for every day, you get out your notebook and you write for 3 pages. Now, I'm not concerned about page limits anymore. I'm not a professor anymore, and that was never the most important thing anyway. I'm more concerned about the value you get from it. And to really maximize your value, I recommend people write about 2 things. One of those things is things that you're scared about. Well, I guess in both cases, they're things that you want to accomplish. And you can break that into 2 groups: things you're scared about and things you are excited about. And in both instances, this is really useful. When you write about things that scare you, it's like speaking up, making that commitment move, putting yourself out there where somebody might criticize you, and believe me, they will. Because deep down, people are good, but up toward the surface, there are all kinds of people. And plenty of people who are unhappy like to take it out on other people with the misguided belief that that's going to make them feel better. So if you write about these things that kind of scare you, this is one of the safest situations you can explore those ideas. It's just you writing. You don't have to commit to anything yet. You don't have to do anything. You're not putting yourself in any danger. And as you do, you get more familiar with it. You talk yourself through the fears. Your comfort zone expands. As your comfort zone expands, of course, your fear decreases, and probably your excitement increases as well, because you're knocking out some of those barriers that were getting in your way to taking those steps. And so, that's what motivation is all about. I wrote this whole book, The Motivation Equation, with tons of really good insights, dozens of them, about how to do what you want. Because that's what motivation really is. It's you want to do something, but pressures and things hold you back. So how do you mitigate that? And one of the stories I tell in that book is about a 300-pound rock. Actually, it's pretty big. It's probably 500 pounds. And I was on a rescue one night up a steep canyon over here nearby. And 3 guys had gotten them stuck, trapped between 200-foot cliffs. So we rode up little motorcycles up to the national park where I used to work as a ranger. It was cool. I always wanted to do that. Finally got the chance. And then we left those and hiked across the mountainside. And we had a helicopter kind of guiding us for a bit. And then somebody else, a teammate, hiked up the far side of the canyon and guided us. You know, you could see our headlamps and you could see our 3 stranded patients, and guided us toward them. And we came in and we got right above them, and below us is a less than 200-foot cliff, 160 maybe, if I recall. And so I tied off some webbing around a tree there, threaded our ropes through it, and I was about to rappel down to them, and then we just pull our ropes down after us and do it again and lower them down. We had other teams waiting below to receive them and walk them back to the road. But then I noticed this, I don't know, we'll say 400-pound rock. And I touched it and it teetered. I thought, there is no way I'm gonna rappel below that rock, because if by chance something happened, knocked it loose, it could crush me, smash me so flat, that'd be gross. So I shouted down to our subjects, our victims, and I made sure they were all standing behind really, really big pine trees, like really thick, like enough to completely protect them from this rock. And I got on the radio and I made sure none of my teammates were down below anywhere where I might kill them. And once I felt totally confident that they were safe, I reached out my right toe and I just gave that rock a little push. And I still remember this vividly. It tipped a little bit, it started to slide, and then it tumbled over the edge of the cliff. And there were maybe a couple seconds of silence. And then, oh boy, that silence ended so abruptly. It was a pretty narrow canyon. It was like a cannon going off. That were like, it hit the rock below. It bounced some direction. It smashed through old logs and trees, and it bounced down the mountainside. It was pretty cool. I'm sorry I didn't have a camera running for that. It was middle of the night too, so wouldn't have been able to see it. But so we got down there. We rescued the guys. We had one more, what you might say is a serious problem to overcome, but we know what we were doing. We got it done, and it was great. But the point of this story is that when you're looking for motivation to get something done, you're basically that rock. You're sitting there, not moving, not taking action, not getting the thing done. But if there's something you really want to do, there's a really good chance that taking action, taking that first step, is just teetering. Like, you just need the tiniest bit of motivation or to reduce the barriers. You can either increase the rewards or reduce the barriers. That's how you alter the motivation equation. And the book goes into dozens of different fantastic ways to accomplish that. So now comes the part where I forget what I was talking about before I started this whole story exactly. But basically, you want to get stuff done. And so there are 2 ways to approach it, like I said. And the 2 ways are to dip your toe in, like we said, or to dive in headlong, just go for it. Just give it a shot, see what happens. You can choose whichever way you want. They're both completely legitimate, but I'm going to recommend that second way. It is exciting. It is so exhilarating. I remember many things I've done which terrified me, but I did them anyway. Not everything is sad. I'm so sad to say things, oh, I wish I would have done so much, and I'll never know what I missed out on. And I hate that regret. But I use that now to motivate myself to never do that again, to try and have more courage. And I do. I've practiced. I've had experiences. I'm way braver than I used to be. I used to be quite the coward, despite doing lots of awesome things. But when something really scared me, it stopped me in my tracks too much. I regret it, but I've learned. Now I can hopefully save you some time in your life with some of these lessons. So if you want to go for it, that's awesome. If you're not ready for that, no problem. I'm not judging you at all. I totally get it. And sometimes it's actually smarter to not just dive in, crash and burn, because sometimes you can get hurt. And if you get hurt and wounded, if you got deep down fears, you've probably just built them up even more. So sometimes it's better to wait. You know, they say the early bird gets the worm, but guess what? The early worm gets the bird. So, you know, you got to weigh that. Look before you leap. He who hesitates is lost. There's wisdom in both sides, so you can choose. If you want to start slow, let me just make one last point, important point, helpful point about this. That's great. Dip your toe in the pool. And maybe this is where we started. One of the easiest ways to do that is to just explore it on paper. Step it up a level, discuss it with a trusted friend. Ask them to give you ideas, feedback, and also encouragement. Because clearly this is something you want to do, isn't it? I mean, as long as you can feel good enough about your odds of success and enjoying it and being better off, at least for the experience, it's something you want to do. And that's like, instead of just dipping your toe, now you've stepped in to the water. Now you're standing ankle deep. That's progress. Super important to give yourself credit at every step of the way. Make it a positive experience. Don't be critical and negative. Otherwise you're building up more resistance that you're gonna have to overcome. So every time you even just make the decision, like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take the next step. You deserve credit for that. That will train your brain to believe in yourself more. It will remove a lot of those barriers and help you tip that rock and take the first step and slide a little bit and eventually take off flying. Hopefully not straight down a cliff where you explode and knock trees apart, but you know what I mean. And here's the important point. This last important point is dip your toe in, step in ankle deep. Never stop just going a little bit farther. Wade in up to your knees. Wade in past your waist. And you know, if you've ever waded into a cold river, that's a commitment point. It's cold, it can be uncomfortable. Do it. And then give yourself credit for doing that. And eventually, you're gonna wade in up to your chest, to your neck, and if you keep going, whether you kind of dive in at some point or not, eventually your feet are no longer gonna be touching the ground. And that means you are swimming. If you're drowning, turn around and frantically paddle back, doggy paddle back to where you get your feet on the ground if you need to. But once you are swimming, once you're floating, here's one of the coolest news flashes of all about this. That right there is the best you can do. That is all you can do. At this point, you're going for it, whether you dove in or went in slow. You're doing the steps, you've passed the commitment move, and that's all you can do. Everything else results, it depends on circumstances and other people. You have no control over that. So why would you waste your time and energy and happiness worrying too much about that? Just keep focusing on you, your actions, your processes, and the progress will eventually arrive. So much for making this a short video, and now I have to tie in one more idea I've been talking about with a friend recently, and that is one of the great things about just focusing on the process and doing your part and just swimming and calling it good is or related topics anyway, is looking long term. In this modern world, we have immediate gratification everywhere. You got your phone clamoring for your attention, whether you're a gamer on social media or just looking up the news or whatever it is you distract yourself with. There is something readily available and eager to give you a little shot of dopamine. And we get used to that, don't we? And that's fun. But the problem is when you let that become your whole life and you become unable to delay gratification and look a little farther into the future. And when you look a little farther out, look for the results like that you might expect in a year or a week, however long it takes, whatever it is you're dealing with, or 10 years, and remind yourself to value that. To not be too impatient and continue giving yourself credit for the little steps, whatever they are, knowing that is the only way you will ever get there to the big dream. And so just keep swimming. Take a break when you need it, get some support, evaluate your execution and make improvements, Sometimes give up and start over on something else if you learn like this isn't for you or it's not working or you get a better idea. But begin one way or the other, take some steps toward your dream, make it come true, make the world a better place, make your life a better place. And every time you do take a step, large or small, but especially when it terrifies you, you build courage, you build character, you build awesomeness, you increase the chances that you're eventually going to get what you want and become an awesome human being. So, all right, now I will stop. Thank you as always for listening. Let's get together someday and do this in a classroom with more interactive, exercises and practice. That'll be super fun. Until then, or until I see you again here on YouTube, be good to yourself. Go for a swim or a wade. Live smart, live happy.
Nothing comes close. Nothing comes close to this. You take my breath away.
By the way, I really love that I can come hiking and running here in Colorado. Welcome to my office.